Bizarre Brain Comics.
Oh, God, whoa. Arg. Hello, welcome to Bizarre Brain Comics. I'm Gary, your host. And this is where I like to take a look at some older comics, talk a little bit about the characters and creators, and then examine the stories and the art. This time I want to take a little look at this book right here from 1992 from DC Comics. Star Trek The Next Generation, number 33. And of course, Star Trek, the original series, it's from the 60s. It's what, 68 to 69? Late 66 to 69. And had a series of movies which generated enough interest to kind of reboot the series. With Star Trek The Next Generation, which was either 87 or 88, I can't remember offhand. And then DC Comics had the license for both Classic Trek and Next Gen, because at that time that's all there was. And they had some outstanding art and writing for both of those titles at that time. And this book is the beginning of a 3-issue story arc, written by Michael Jan Friedman, drawn by Ken Penders, with Pablo Marcos as the inker, and some marvelous covers on this time. Who is this? I keep forgetting his name because I don't know him. J.K. Moore, I think. Some great stuff here. Okay. And that's about all I really have for that there. I'm not going to talk too much about the artists. Of course. And this is a great arc. It's got Q creating havoc. We've got mutiny and brawls and 10 forward, and almost coming to causing a war, and you name it. That's all of Q's normal things. And it's got Klingons. Ha! You'll see my Klingon affiliation here. Kapla! And that's Kapla, not Kapla, like everyone on the TV show says. So here we go. To the 24th century. Join Jean-Luc Picard and the crew of the Enterprise. Aha! Here you can get a better view of that cover, and you can see why it's got all the Klingon stuff. Ha ha ha! Oh, it's a great cover. What has Q done? He's turned the entire crew of the Enterprise into Klingons! Ha ha! Except for Data, because he's an android. And of course, Worf, who's already a Klingon. As I said, it's a 3-issue story arc. They'll have great covers. I love this cover here. Have Picard as he in his Klingon guise, and of course they make him look so much like General Chang. He even had General Chang's uniform from Star Trek The Undiscovered Country. And that's issue 1. of this story, issue 2. Guinan horrified with the brawl in 10 forward. And then the third and final part with Worf and Klingon Riker coming to blows. Oh yeah, this is some great stuff. And the writer here is Jan Michael Friedman. He's born in 1955 in New York City, and he's an American author. Have about 60 books, and more than half of them are the licensed properties of Star Trek. 10 having been on the New York Times bestseller list. I've read several of his novels. He's great. At this time, also had Peter David writing. I think Classic Trek, and he was also writing a bunch of the novels. And so I've read more of these guys in their pro stuff than I have in their comic stuff. Oh yeah. 10 of them on the New York Times bestseller list. He's also written for TV, radio, and the comics. Yeah, that's what we're here for. In comics, he wrote primarily for DC on the Star Trek and Star Trek The Next Generation titles. But also on Batman, DC Universe, some of the Flash, Green Lantern Corps, and Justice League, among others. He also did a little stuff for Image, and in Marvel Comics, primarily on the Silver Surfer. And he wrote a documentary film, which is Star Trek Journey to the Silver Screen. So that's cool. That's cool. So let's take a little little journey into the 24th century here. I just love that. I love that that image of Picard. Of course, that's Picard. Yeah, there it is. That's Picard. That's Deanna Troi. She makes quite the sexy Klingon lady, doesn't she? And here's Riker, bold, strapping young warrior. And he's ambitious. That comes out. He's ambitious. And then, of course, here's Data, who can't make anything out of any of it. So, okay. So, kind of splash page. Someone beaming on board. Okay, what the deal is here? There's some kind of war going on between a couple of races, a couple of warrior races out in space. They're similar to Klingons in culture, and this is a diplomatic mission trying to broker peace between these two people, and they're taking this one race, the Isolanti, to rendezvous. It has some great, interesting page design layout here on this, and some really nice art, good resemblances. Of course, it's not as good as the cover, but it is really great. It's really some great artwork here. The design of the Isolanti looks a little more comic bookish than than what one might like, but hey, it's a comic book, and they design them to their way instead of having to reproduce the designs of Paramount. Okay, and they're here, and they have an innate they're very aggressive, and they don't like other races. They even say they know about Worf. It says, "Keep your Klingon away from us," and said, "Okay, we'll do that." Of course, here's Q. He's going to make trouble. He hears all this. There's the Enterprise. Great progressive progression here as it warps out of orbit, or warps on its way. Here they are. They're talking, saying, "Worf, yeah, you're doing a good job, but just, I know you hate this, not being able to do your job, but you've got to stay away from the Isolanti." Yada yada yada. And so Then Q appears. Oh, you're driving me nuts, Picard, with all your gaga, ooh, peace, peace. Oh, it's so disgusting, revolting. And what really pisses off Worf. And of course, Picard's not happy either. And bickering back and forth. And Q being his meddlesome self. And in the process, he goes, oh, I think I know what I'll do. Boom! Suddenly, Picard is a Klingon. And that really pisses him off. And in the process, see, then he finds out that this whole thing would have made a great novel. And he wrote several of them. And then he's called out. Even the fish is Klingonized. Look at that. Look at that. He gets out on the bridge and sees that everybody, everybody except Data, have been turned into Klingons. And he zaps them around the ship to see how pervasive it is. Everyone are Klingons. And these people, okay, and stuff starts happening. They're confused, surprised, and these are humans, primarily humans, with a few other aliens, who are suddenly become Klingons and don't know how to deal with their innate aggression and strong Klingon emotions, which is great for conflict, which is what Q was after. Oh, that's great drawings of the Klingon uniforms here. They even threw in, and they're becoming progressively more and more Klingon, as they can't deal, and it throws in some Klingon dialogue, some Klingon words, which I think is great, because Klingon hol vijaklach. But the bad thing is they have crappy Klingon spelling. The words are right, the spelling's wrong on a lot of stuff. I can't get a hold of that. And everyone just getting more aggressive, trying to deal with stuff. Even O'Brien and his wife are bickering about the thing, and their new baby, and and they almost come to blows. And even affects the Dr. Crusher's in her duties. Like, oh, okay, we gotta perform the surgery on you. No anesthetic. And says, no anesthetic. Painkiller for a son of Kalis? Oh yeah. So she operates on him without anesthetic. More progress, and Q's keeping his own log. And here, Ysalanti are tired of being cooped up in their quarters, and they go out to get something, look around, and maybe get they want to get a drink at 10 forward. And then they're horrified to see, well, there's Klingons walking down the passageway. Oh, this is not good. They almost come to blows there. It's only diplomatic restraint that stops them. So they want to go complain about it. Even Barclay is overly aggressive. Do you see how they ran from us? Now that you mention it, I suppose I am pretty fearsome at that. Barclay, yeah. So that's the end of that one, and I'm not going to go too far, other than just to give you a very brief overview, because the artwork, the storytelling, do a great job recreating the Enterprise interiors. Like, used a lot of photographic reference for the stuff for the interiors. Great job on the ship, because those ships are not as easy to draw as one might think. And yeah, the interiors look authentic, look great. Good job on drawing the Klingon uniforms, etc. And a good resemblance on getting the actors' resemblance, even with after they've been Klingonized. My only real problem is that most of them are too dark. Okay, because as we have seen, the Klingons vary in shades just as humans do, from very light to very dark. They're not all as dark as Worf. And it kind of, when they make them that dark, it's kind of difficult to sometimes to see their features, especially when they were originally lighter complected actors. Of course, it's natural for Worf because he's naturally dark, and for the most part, I got no problem with that, other than sometimes making identifying the character a little more difficult, because you're not expecting them to be as necessarily that darkly complected. And then here we go, Guinan. Yeah, they go to see those aliens. They go to see Counselor Troy. She can probably help us, because she's the one who was assigned to escort them and indoctrinate them and stuff. And then they're horrified. She's a Klingon, says, "Deal with it." You don't like the Klingons? Deal with it. More great stuff. As their aggression begins to progress. Yeah, he's even doing, because Picard lost his head, he does turns himself into a Frankenstein monster, and there's winds up having a brawl in the in 10 forward between the Klingons and Ysolanti. Picard goes to break. Oh, there's a great Picard, and look at that great General Chang uniform. And they wind up almost coming to blows as well. He gets involved in roughhousing, and then when he's supposed to have Data, has to remind him that you're here to stop this, not foster it. And then in the last part, the Dogs of War, Riker basically takes over, because they start acting more like Klingons, and Riker winds up taking over command, throwing Picard in the brig, and he is even more aggressive because Riker's ambitious anyway. And then and Picard is in the brig, and then because Data and Worf realize that this cannot go on, and Data and Worf work together to they take command from Riker, trying to set everything straight. Keeping everything under control, and eventually Q at the end returns everyone back to normal, and they have learned a lesson. The Ysolanti have learned a lesson in patience, and it all works to the good, to help with the diplomatic talks. and that is a really, really fun Star Trek story arc. I love that one, and I love others. And we'll talk about some more another time. But so that's what I've got for this time with Star Trek: The Next Generation, with the Enterprise crew turned into Klingons. Klingon Mach! Rech! Klingon Wo! Tach Judge! Oh, yes. Please like, share, subscribe. Leave a comment. Thank you for joining me, and remember, comics are art.